Amy versus Brenda, Tin Can Alley Challenge. We each get 3 shots. And this is how it's not done.
Hi. I was reading Psalm 139 today, verses 13 to 16. And it's about who we are. I'll read it to you now. You made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvellous. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was being woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. Wow, how incredible is that? It got me to thinking, have you ever been excited about something you were going to make, when you were going to experiment, put things together, but didn't really quite know until it was completed what it was going to look like? Well, Amy reminded me of tie and dye t-shirts. And I remember as a child going to school with my t-shirt and being really excited and wrapping tightly elastic bands in little clumps on my t-shirt. And then you had to dunk it in dye and then really make sure the dye had gone through, and you were hoping that the dye didn't go where you tightly wrapped the elastic bands. And you never knew until you'd taken the elastic bands off and you'd hung it up to dry. And it was then that you saw the beautiful pattern that you'd made. You didn't see the full beauty of what you'd created. When God made you, can you imagine what it must have been like for your parents and for family and friends of the family, waiting for you to be born, not knowing how you were going to turn out? What were you going to be? A boy? A girl? Although sometimes parents know that now, but they didn't know everything. They didn't know what colour eyes you were going to have, what colour hair, whose nose you were going to have, and what sort of person you were going to be. But God didn't have to wonder. He had created you. He already knew exactly what you were going to be because He'd designed you. He had a plan and a purpose for you. And in those verses that I read earlier, and it said, you watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was being woven together in the dark of the womb. And you saw me before I was born. He knows everything about you. We can't normally see what's inside us unless we've had a scan or an x-ray, but then it only shows you the parts of the body inside. They don't show who you really are, what you are like inside, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you behave. That's called your identity. And God knew your identity. He planned you. He created you both inside and outside. He designed you that way perfectly. He created you. He loves you. And he calls you to be a child of God. His child, his son or his daughter. How special is that? To be a part of God's family. To be a child of God. Let's take a minute to think about how much God loves you and how special you are. Ask God to show you.